In today's video, I am going to teach you how to be a leader of gratitude. And I'm going to pour myself a cup of tea first. And what I mean by a leader of gratitude, I'm going to explain in one moment. What most people don't know on the Gratitude Slam, who are the predominant audience members of these video blogs, is by trade, I call myself a gratitude and mindset coach on the Gratitude Slam. But outside of the Gratitude Slam, I'm also a leadership coach. They're all the same thing to me. Leadership and gratitude and mindset, they all relate. But when I go into the corporate world, talking about leadership is a little bit more palatable. And so in order to talk about leadership, it's a word that's easily thrown out there. Easy to, I'm a leader, they're a leader, she's a leader, he's a leader, they're a leader. Like everybody, we're talking about leader all the time. Then you go to the airport and books on leadership and books on leaders. And so there's a lot of talk about leaders. So if you want to be a leader of gratitude, we got to define first, well, what's a leader to begin with? And I'm going to give you my standpoint. Because I'm a student, I'm learning too. You're a student, you're learning too. But I'm going to share with you my studies thus far. And in my world, and as I do coach other leaders and executives and CEOs and emerging leaders as well, which is very rewarding to me, is a leader builds more leaders. That's it. A leader builds more leaders, right? Think about anyone who is a true leader, who you go, that person led me and I wanted to follow them. Because in order to actually be a leader, you have to have one or more person choose to want to follow you. And so think of someone in your life that has led you, who you chose to follow. I bet my bottom dollar they were building you to be a better leader, right? And what that means is anybody can be a leader. So if you have a young being in your life, if you have a child or you take care of a young being, they can lead you. All they need to do is help create an environment for you to be the most authentic and best version of yourself and speak your truth faster. So being a leader is more about creating an environment, creating a space, creating a safety for us to be our most authentic selves, right? Looks like I got a little schmutz there. If there was a leader in the room, they would have been like, you got some schmutz on you. Because leaders speak the truth, right? And so let's define what a leader is not. So we know a leader is someone who builds other leaders, someone who builds others to be the best versions of themselves and to figure out, is this the environment for that person to even be in? Are our values congruent? But let's talk about a leader is not. Because I know a lot of managers who are not leaders. I know a lot of CEOs who are not leaders. I know a lot of business owners that are not leaders. I know a lot of people with the word leader in their title who are not leading, right? You probably, if you actually go out there in the world, know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, I'm the leader, you're going to follow me. That's not how it works. I'm not following, if I'm following you, the only reason I'm following what you want me to do is because you give me a paycheck or you give me a roof. That doesn't make you a leader. Because leadership is not about power. Leadership is about authority. And what I mean by that is power is you're going to do this because I said so, pull this lever. Or make that dinner on time. That's not a leader of a home. That's not a leader of a business. But authority is, I look to you. A lot of people, and I'm very honored by this, say, Michael's an authority on gratitude. I don't know if I am or not, but they see me as a subject matter expert on this theme and on this topic. And so people invite me into forums to talk. And I'm a student, but I do admit I enjoy the journey I've been on, and I love sharing that journey with others. And authority is, that person has authority over me. Like what they say, I will follow. There are team masters that I follow, who I go, whatever they say, buy this, I'm going to buy it. Why? Because they have authority over me. I trust them so much that they are an authority. And I don't mean authority like the authorities arrested a young man today. That's not authority. That's a position of power, And also a leader, part of talking of power, isn't here to convince anyone of anything. A true leader does not force, this is the way we live. This is the way it is, right? I'd like to think you're never going to hear me say something like, be more grateful, Or come on, where's the gratitude? Or if you can't be grateful, get out of the gratitude slam. I'd like to think I'm never going to do that. If I do, it's a moment of weakness and something is not congruent in my life. And I hopefully then will come back and be like, you know what, that was because I'm allowed redos, right? I'm allowed redos as a leader, as you are allowed redos as a leader. And you could be a leader to a stranger. You could be a leader to your boss. You could be a leader to your partner. You could be a leader to your child, and vice versa. They can all be leaders to you as well. Because we mistake people who say, this is the way we must live as leaders, when it's our job to make sure that we're just showing our way. And then other people will choose to follow, and we therefore will become authorities in their lives as well. And if you really try to force something on someone and they don't take it, you're going to find yourself frustrated. The recipient's going to find themselves frustrated. And so to be a leader of gratitude, here's what you do. Leaders create environments where it's safe to explore the values and themes in which you admire most. I love tea. I'm not making a career out of it. Not today. I don't know if I ever will. But I when people come in who have zero context of what tea culture is like, then I get to create a space for them safe to explore. I'm not like, you're stupid, you don't know what you're doing, sit up straight. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm like, come on in. Let's practice. Let's see what this is like. Let's create space. So here's where you can be a leader of gratitude. Talk about your experience with gratitude without fear or judgment of the other person. Let other people judge you. Well, that's stupid. You're going to die if you keep being grateful. Whatever. Okay, maybe. But at the same time, to be a leader, you've got to listen to them. Why do you think that? Well, get curious. And get curious about other people. Instead of getting like, you're doing it wrong. You're doing this gratitude thing wrong. Go, tell me about your gratitude practice. Tell me about your thoughts of gratitude. Tell me what you heard about gratitude. As a leader, we create that space for it's safe to talk about. It doesn't mean people are going to follow you, but we're creating the space. When you desire to be compassionate, which means someone has requested assistance and you know you've got some tools, or you offer assistance and someone goes, yeah, please help me. That's compassion. It's not compassion when you're like, I've got a tool, use it. And they're like, I don't want it. That's not compassion. That's power. That's forcing power. That's forcing something. But when you are compassionate and you know you have tools, whether it's the gratitude guide that we send out at Thanksgiving every week, or the gratitude journal that I've created, or there's other, it doesn't have to be the stuff I've created, my team's created. But to go, hey, I've got some tools for you. Or, hey, I know the gratitude slam, right? I'm just using the things I know, right? I'm not saying use mine. I'm saying, but to say like, would you like an introduction to that resource, that tool? And if they accept it, then give it. And it's up to them if they use it or not. Because if you force it on them, that's not leading them. That's exercising your power. And of course, live it yourself. I mean, you hear lead by example. Lead by example is living the values, and gratitude is a value, the way we're doing it. Gratitude is emotion, but it's also a value. And most of all, what leaders do, and think of any leader, whether it's Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Jesus, whatever leader you have in your mind, or someone, your local soccer coach, or someone on the board of whatever you sit on, they set expectations clearly. Hey, this is what to expect from me. This is how I'm going to show up. And if you want to join me on that, I invite you as well. But the thing that's most important is leaders understand they get what they tolerate. They get what they accept. And so leaders also remove. They don't kick out. They don't fire. They don't put them in the chipper shredder like in Fargo the movie. They remove things from their space that are not congruent with their values. And so we just go, hey, thank you so much, and walk away. Or, hey, you know what? That's not the way that I choose to act in this household. I'm going to ask you never to come back again. We're not going to say if you don't change. We just go. That's just not welcome here, right? That's just not welcome here. And so when you drop the expectation of others need to act like you, or need to act a certain way, or need to show up a certain way, when you drop that expectation that people need to be something, you'll thrive as a leader, because we're not here to force it. And so if you want to be a leader of gratitude, we live it, And if other people go, tell me more about that, you know? In my household, there's a rule with my wife, Lauren. It's an unspoken rule and no one's ever actually said it. Sometimes I joke about it, but it's you do not coach the wife. But it's, you know, because that's not the space. I'm not the coach. I'm her partner. I'm her confidant. But every now and then I see her go, I saw you do that thing with your staff. Or I see you breathing. Tell me more, right? And therefore I'm leading and she leads me. Tell me more about this enjoyment of shopping. Tell me more about that enjoyment of cookies. Help me understand it. And then she leads me in cookies. She leads me in bopping is what we call it when we just walk around and go from store to store, which I never understood. Now I enjoy doing that because she led me. And I hope that I get to lead you in certain cases with gratitude and gratitude practices. I'm not going to force it on you, but hopefully you go, tell me more, right? So imagine just living your values more. Imagine what that's going to be like for you to live your values more often without fear of judgment. Look, here's what I want you to walk away with today, and then hopefully you walk away with some other things too. Being a leader is not about power. It's about authority. It's okay that not everyone will follow you, and it's okay that you will not follow everyone. That is what is so wonderful about being a human, and that's what's so great about being a leader of gratitude. We get to choose who leads us, and others get to choose who I or you or any of us are the leader for. And then we get to lead through our values, right? And we're going to attract like attracts like. That doesn't make the others bad and us good. It's just this is the way I choose to show up. So those who lead themselves first, these are the values, this is what I accept in my space, this is what I not tolerate in my space, these are the boundaries, this is what I want in my space, of my space, and that's the space of time, that's your physical space, that's your head space, your emotional space, your heart space. Those who live their values. And I assume if you're watching this, gratitude is a value of yours. Those who live their values will live a life on their terms. And by the way, as I mentioned at the top of this video, by trade, yes, I'm a gratitude and mindset coach, but out there, I'm a leadership gratitude and mindset coach. And I've been so fortunate that multiple people of the Gratitude Slam have invited me into their corporations. And so if you're interested in that, send me a direct message, an email, a smoke signal, a handwritten letter, because I love them. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for being a leader to me. And hopefully I get to do the same in return, creating an environment for us to be the best we can.